That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Of course, Lucasfilm is in the business. I'm pretty sure this is written in their company letterhead. They're in the business of announcing movies and then canceling them. That's what it feels like the business Star Wars is in, right? Oh, Kevin Feige's doing a Star Wars movie. Oh, it's gone. Oh, why am I freezing on the name of the woman who directed?
You're talking about the X-Wing, the Rogue Squadron, or whatever.
Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins is doing a Rogue Squadron movie. Oh, it's gone. Oh, Taika Waititi is doing a Star Wars movie. Oh, it's gone.
The revolving door.
I mean, it's just over and over and over again, right? Well, maybe this is the next one, maybe not. Story broke this morning. This coming to us from Deadline. That the creator and writer of Star Wars Rebels, the producer of The Martian, the producer of Logan, the producer of Deadpool and Wolverine, the writer of Mr. and Mrs. Smith that just got nominated for Best Drama Series at the Emmys, Simon Kinberg, is going to write and develop and produce a new trilogy of Star Wars films that Deadline is saying is going to be Star Wars Episodes 10, 11, and 12. Although there are some other reports out there saying that it won't be. This comes to us from Deadline. Lucasfilm has closed a deal with Simon Kinberg to develop a trilogy of Star Wars films. Kinberg will write the trio and produce them with Lucasfilm chief Kathleen Kennedy. I heard this will comprise, now this is Deadline, of episodes 10, 11, and 12 of the Skywalker saga. That doesn't mean there's going to be Skywalkers in it. It just means it's the saga of the main episodic Star Wars saga continues. That began with George Lucas's 1977 first film that, along with Steven Spielberg's Jaws, reshaped the global blockbuster game. Insiders dispute my intel that Kinberg will continue that storyline, saying this will instead begin a new saga and sit alongside of Star Wars percolating projects with James Mangold, Obadiah Chinoy, Taika Waititi. That's never going to happen. And Donald Glover, because he's still talking about doing a Lando film. As usual, Lucasfilm and Disney are not commenting. Kinberg previously worked with Lucasfilm in co-creating with Dave Filoni, and he wrote, by the way, the Emmy-nominated animated series Star Wars Rebels, which is my favorite animated thing Star Wars has ever done, and I think one of the best. I mean, it's not Andor, but it's one of the best things Star Wars has done in the last 30 years is Star Wars Rebels. I love Star Wars Rebels. That ran for 4 seasons from 2014 to 2018. He was also a consultant on Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, which is one of the original ones that I actually really like. He's also been heavily involved in other franchises, writer-producer with X-Men films. He did Logan. Anyway, he's done a lot of stuff. Now, Simon has not worked out to be a very good director. That's why he's not directing these. Because remember he did that X-Men Phoenix thing? That was his first movie that he directed. Not a great first outing as a director, so he's not going to be directing these. I'll tell you why I like this. There's an opposite side to the coin too, but let me start with why I like this. The reason I like this is, number one, Simon Kinberg is truly a geek. He really is. Number two, this guy knows Star Wars better than most people. Again, as the creator of, with Dave Filoni, he created Rebels. I think he wrote all 74 episodes of Star Wars Rebels as well. I could be wrong about that. I'd have to double check. But he wrote most of it. And here's the other thing. And he's got great success in the comic book, like in Star Wars with Rebels, in the comic book genre with... Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's episode, Manscaped. You know that fresh from the barbershop feeling? Now you can get it anytime with Manscaped's brand new Chairman Pro package. So let's talk about the main star here, the Chairman Pro electric foil shaver. This shaver comes with 2 skin-safe blade heads. There's the 4-blade foil for that clean, close shave, and a stubble trimmer if you're keeping a bit of that rugged look. Guys, this thing has Flex Adjust technology, so it adapts to the contours of your face and neck, giving you a smooth shave without the irritation. And yes, it's waterproof, so you can use it right in the shower, no mess. They've also included Power Shave Gel, which makes every shave glide smoothly and the face shave smoother to keep your skin calm, hydrated, and free from razor bumps. So if you're ready to upgrade your grooming game, head over to manscaped.com and use my code Campea to get 20% off plus free shipping. That's manscaped.com using the code Campea. Your face deserves this level of care. By the way, he wrote what I think is a top 6 or 7 greatest comic book movie of all time. I'd say he wrote 2 and wrote or produced like 2 of the greatest comic book movies of all time with X-Men Days of Future Past and Logan. And he's also produced some bad ones. Make no mistake, he has. But he also, outside of the genre, with things like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which again was just nominated for Best Drama Series at the Emmys, and The Martian that he produced with Ridley Scott, which is one of Ray's favorites.
Oh, it is my favorite.
But here's the big thing. Simon Kinberg is a bigger Star Wars geek than you. This guy is a bona fide, hardcore Star Wars nerd. I remember the first time we actually met Simon Kinberg. Ray, you were with me, right?
Yeah, we were lined up before Force Awakens.
Like we were lined up at a Toys R Us.
How far back?
At midnight, in this huge line, and we bumped into my buddy.
Ari.
Well, no, him. Yeah, he was there too.
He was behind us. Seth Green was in front of us.
And Seth Green was in front of us, and my buddy who directed Fanboys, Kyle Newman, who's been on my show a few times, was there, and Kyle was with Simon Kinberg, who was lined up at Toys R Us. It was one of the Star Wars days they were doing.
It was Force Awakens.
And to get the toys.
Right.
He was there, right? And I remember talking to him, and he goes, "Oh, I want to get this special edition. I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get this." And we just geeked out about Star Wars for a while. Like he's this big famous Hollywood writer producer, but he was standing in line at Toys R Us at midnight because he wanted the first crack at the newest toys.
It was Toys R Us in Burbank. It's in Aldi now, though.
You know why I'm a big fan of him, and it has nothing to do with any of this work. Is because his crew brought that line some Krispy Kremes.
That's right. They brought a bunch of Krispy Kremes for everybody in line.
Yeah, so Kinberg, man.
So you give me the guy who created and wrote Star Wars Rebels and wrote some Emmy-nominated stuff and is going to produce and has produced, I think, some of the greatest geek stuff, particularly in the comic genre with movies like Logan and X-Men Days of Future Past. He's got some big misses too, absolutely. And his career as a director did not work out, but he's not directing these things. This could be good. Could be good. Could be good. So it's look, in the world of, is this either good news or bad news? I'll say this leans into the good news thing. I like Simon. I think he'll do a good job. But let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? Or rather, the elephant that keeps leaving the room. Because Kathleen Kennedy can't keep talent. Every time we talk about a new Star Wars project, you might as well set your watch. Go ahead, jump into Google Calendars right now. Set a date for 6 months from now when we need to do the story. Simon Kinberg has left the Star Wars project over creative differences or whatever. It happens every fucking time. I want to be happy about this. Simon Kinberg, guy who knows Star Wars about as good as anybody on the fucking planet. The guy who created and wrote Star Wars Rebels, one of my favorite Star Wars things. Guy who did Logan and like Martian, on. Great. But I can't have any joy in my heart because we as Star Wars fans can't have good things because they always leave. At some point or another, Kathleen Kennedy will screw up the relationship, whether it's for her fault or not her fault, whatever. But at some point, they always leave. It's like whenever mommy starts dating an interesting new man, they always leave. By the way, my parents are still together. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm going to bring this at a different angle from you.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay.
Hit me.
Okay.
Make me feel better about this.
Having a Star Wars project as highly sought after right now as it was before, or is it one of those ones where you're like, I'm not touching that because of the backlash, the pressure, and things like that? Do you think that has anything to do with why some of these projects, or maybe they don't work out, is because maybe, yeah, you can ink that deal, but when you start getting in there, you start realizing the massive responsibility on your hands.
I would be surprised if that's part of it. I think that is what I think that would be a bigger part of, is why some people don't get interested in doing a Star Wars project, right? Kathleen Kennedy, again, I am not a Kathleen Kennedy hater. I think she's a first ballot Hall of Famer as a producer. I think she's one of the greatest producers in the history of Hollywood because her resume is one of the best ever put together. But there is a difference between being a movie producer and being the head of a studio. And she has simply demonstrated time and 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 fucking time again that she cannot get on the same page with the creators.
True.
And they always...
Did Taika and all them, were they in talks? Because this article said that he signed a deal. Did they get as far as signing?
No, Taika wasn't just in talks.
He signed?
He said, I've got my movie, I'm writing it, I'm doing all this kind of stuff. The Kevin Feige one was, he brought in Michael Waldron. He even had a writer. He had Michael Waldron coming in, and they were making up that movie, and that's gone. And the Patty Jenkins thing was announced, and that's gone. And look, we went over the show the other day, this huge list of all these projects that got mentioned, and they were all gone. So.
Was it a level 4 list?
It's a level 4 9 list. So, do I think that this is, let me bring it up here again. Do I think this is good news? I do. I think this is good news. I think Simon Kinberg is a guy who is a card-carrying, hardcore Star Wars nerd fanatic and somebody who has had some great success, not just with other stuff in entertainment, but with Star Wars specifically. I think this is a good guy to attach to this, and I will be excited, but I can't feel good about it. I kind of wish Chris was here right now. I can't feel good about it because I just don't believe it's actually going to happen. Because Kathleen Kennedy has made me believe that we as Star Wars fans can't have good things. Now, and again, let me be clear. They have delivered some good stuff. Right? I love Star Wars The Force Awakens. I love Andor. I love Rogue One. I love Rebels. They have delivered some good stuff. I'm not saying that they haven't. I'm just saying that every time it seems like something's good's going to happen, it just gets taken away. So we're reporting today Simon Kinberg's developing Star Wars.
It's happening, guys.
Star Wars trilogy.
This is happening.
But
sure.
I can feel no joy in my heart because there's no part of me that believes it's actually going to happen.
Come on.
And I hope they prove me wrong.
There's been an awakening.
Yeah,
Can't you feel it?
Yeah, this is a Blade situation.
That's true. It is very Bladian.
It's going to be a Blade situation.
So, yeah, I hope they prove me wrong here. I hope this does actually go through and we actually get something out of this. It's just, guys, I'm sorry. The track record of the last couple of years is not very favorable. So.
Why'd you turn it to Nick Cage?
So. I don't know. I hope it works out. But listen, when they announce a director and a production start date, I will allow myself to open my cold, dark heart, broken and shattered. I will allow myself to open my heart a little bit to maybe experiencing some of the joy that this is actually going to happen. Until that time, I will remain guarded.
Oh my God.
I will remain a little bit guarded on
Did Blade ever announce a production start date?
Like 15
Yeah, I
of them.
think they
Hold
did.
that back.
Like 15 of them.
Hold that back.
Yeah.
We're talking about
I'm saying they could even wrap principal photography, and I'd be like, I don't know.
You may want a little bit more to get.
Yeah, I might need a little bit more, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? In both sides of it, just on the face value, Simon Kinberg attached to direct a new Star Wars trilogy, to write and develop and produce a new Star Wars trilogy. I think this is good news. But then the second side, do you think it's actually going to happen? Or like clockwork, 6 months from now, are we going to be doing a story about Simon Kinberg has parted ways with Lucasfilm over? I mean, that seems to be the pattern, right? Whatever you guys think, Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the good one. Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.